Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I am Diane. This is Carrie. Uh,
Hi.
so I call myself many things these days, but foundationally, I'm a coach. I'm a life coach, and kind of come home to myself recently. And my mission and passion on this earth is to help others connect with their heart, connect with their soul, be able to find their enoughness and their worthiness, and heal their old stories so that they can feel confident enough to express themselves and share their truths out loud.
I love that.
Me.
Um, I'm a writer and a storyteller trainer, and I help women craft their stories, share stories, publish stories, so that they can move through an old story that holds them back or share an experience that they've learned from. I believe storytelling is an energy, and I think it's a law of attraction tool we all have access to. And I've been in the publishing business for 20 years, and my experience has always been that when I share personal stories from my heart, magical things come back into my reality. So I have written for Huffington Post, Redbook, Mind, Body, Green. I've been published thousands of times over the last 20 years. But what I'm really passionate about these days is helping women find their stories, and then leading them through this journey of crafting that particular story with the right words from their heart so that they're able to send it out in the world and have it impact others.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And it's uh, everything that we need to do.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And between the two of us, helping them come back to their truth and embracing old stories that may be blocking their truth.
Yeah.
And then sharing that story with the public, the shift that they'll experience in our 90-day mastermind is pretty profound.
Mm-hmm. And that's what this call is really about, because Carrie and I, we linked up and we decided to partner up and create something, this mastermind for the next 90 days called Discover Your Story and Share Your Truth. And I think it's beautiful because the work that you do is so needed in this world. And then I feel like the work that I do is kind of foundational, so it's so complementary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it feels like that's what's needed more now. People want to shift. There's, like you said, this energy shift happening, and people want to open up and be transparent and share who they are and express who they are. But I feel like you could do that in a safe space and be able to actually put yourself out there in a way that's honored.
Yeah. Diane and I have been talking about the energy shift that's been taking place over the last month or so. And it's pretty intense. And so it's February 23rd, and there's this new moon that's coming in a couple of days, that the energy that is coming in with this new transition is actually going to be here for the next 6 months. So this is just the start of this, the opening that I think we're all experiencing of transition and change and the unknown, and finding a way to lean into it. In my experience and just the conversations that I've had, there's a lot of struggle in that acceptance and fear in embracing it. So we wanted to get on a call and just kind of share our experience with what we're both feeling. And let you know that you're not alone in that realization. And that's pretty much what this mastermind is doing and supporting you with.
Absolutely. And you need that support, especially when, I'm starting to feel the energy too. And sometimes, when things are happening around you and doors are closing and it feels like, what is going on with my life? It can bog you down, and it can feel like, am I going in the wrong direction? What's happening? But I think it's also a test to, your character and your resiliency to be able to see that, no, maybe I'm being, led in a new direction. Maybe good things are coming, and to see, not to put a positive spin on it, but to be able to see the good things that are actually, waiting for you on the other side of that.
Yeah. And that can be really, it can be super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I went to Dallas a couple of weeks ago and partnered up with a television writer and a book publisher, and we created these two concepts and pitched two television concepts to a production company that's interested in what we created. I haven't stretched my imagination in that way in quite some time. As an entrepreneur, we're so focused on everything from the day to our daydreams, right? There's this huge growth that we go through, but I haven't, from a creative side, I haven't used that part of my brain in quite some time. And it definitely shifted a couple things for me. So I'm in transition personally and professionally right now, and leaning into the energy the best I can, knowing that this year is huge for change. Yeah. But a couple months ago, when I'm an intuitive, and I started to feel the energy shift, I knew that I had to up level in every aspect of my life, because I felt the energy coming in and knew that this was going to be a year for people to share stories, because as a collective, we have to find a new way to communicate with one another. Mm-hmm. But the only way to communicate on a better level is if we first start with us. So that's really where that's what this mastermind is going to do.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel so connected with you. Because recently, I guess I just said it to myself, is that people want to be connected with people who are connected with themselves. Mm-hmm. I think I was sharing with Carrie that I started going on that journey myself end of last year. I kind of am very transparent on the internet with those who follow me. And I was sharing that I was going on a personal journey, wanting to walk my talk as a coach and really, step into that role so I can guide and lead others. And I wasn't feeling enough last year. I was doing all of this good work, and I felt like I was helping people move forward in their lives. And I had to step back and say, I haven't done this for myself in a while. I felt burned out. I felt drained. I felt stressed, and I didn't want to be coaching from that place. Mm-hmm. So I went on my little personal journey called Finding My Worthiness with or Without Titles. And it has taught me so much about myself. And I think I'm coming out of the other side of that now. When we connected, really feeling grounded and connected with who I am. And it's helping me be able to express myself, and communication is so important to me, and connect with others authentically and honestly, and from this heart place. Talking about transition, Carrie shared with you, and I've shared with everyone online. I made the decision as well, even though I'm a coach, to have stability in my life and have the creative space and energy to coach in the way that I feel called to coach. So I've been looking to get more involved in nonprofit work locally where I am, to be doing something in the community. And at first I was scared to admit that and share that part of my truth. But the more that I have, the more open and receptive people have been to me and want me to guide them on this journey. So I think everything you're saying is right, that we need this truth to be shared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And worthiness is such a deep story. So it's usually like deeply rooted in something that happened in the course of our lifetime. It's not like we wake up one day and just feel this. It's something that has been covered and buried for quite some time. And so doing the deep work on that story, worthiness is a story. So doing that deep work with you in 90 days, moving people through that old story and helping them from pain point to pleasure island, accepting it and changing it, is where your light and your part is within this 90-day journey. I would come in then and talk to people about why do you feel that you were unworthy in the first place? And that could be a story that we could craft. And that would be a personal essay that we would go out and pitch to an outlet that's looking to teach women or support women in that particular genre or theme. Another story we could create over 90 days is why it's important to recognize your worth. And then we could go out and pitch to another outlet that's looking for that. So the combination of healing that old story impacts them on a personal level. Sharing the story with the public impacts them on a professional level where, if they're a coach and they're looking to support entrepreneurs on their own journey of some kind, getting personal essays published increases people's email list, client base, and it really does act as a law of attraction tool. So if you're going to share a story about how you accepted your worthiness, an opportunity to speak may come back into reality, an opportunity to get published somewhere else could come back into your reality, a partnership, a new client. It really is a magnetic tool, but first you've got to do the work to accept it, and then you've got to be brave enough to share it. And the worthiness is a perfect example of what a story we want to help people with in our 90-day mastermind. So
absolutely everything that you said, because it was right. Maybe not all that I can add to that is absolutely. I think sometimes we don't realize that those things that we've gone through in our life, I can tell a story about worthiness. Yes, exactly that. Those are the things that people want to hear. Those are the things that don't just change your businesses or what you're creating in your life, but they change your life as well. I can speak from that place for myself, and I know you can probably speak, on that as well, Carrie. And I think that, when you are able to see what happened to you, and that's what I really love digging into is the story. Sometimes it's very scary to go there, and it's like, no, what does that have to do with my life now? But if you don't go back and, face and exactly what you said, accept those things that, have happened. We all are human. We have all experienced, trauma and, tragedy and loss and things that have happened to us. And we can choose to let them impact us, in a negative way, or we can choose to stand in our power and our strength. And like you said, be brave and face those fears. And
right.
As we did in the videos, embrace the vulnerability and be able to impact others and really heal ourselves and share our truths with the world, which is cool.
So we did 3 videos and 3 workbooks to help people with 3 very specific elements that we both see common in sharing stories. One is vulnerability, one is rejection, and one is fear. So I work with women around the world who are sharing stories, and the most common block I see is in fear, like fear of sharing their story, fear of being judged for their story, fear of sharing the real story. So a lot of times I'm an intuitive, and so when I work with people, I feel the energy of story, and I can feel when they're hiding in the story. I can feel when they're tainting the story with resentment or anger or something,
Yeah.
But the reason we did, fear, vulnerability, and judgment is because, or rejection, fear, vulnerability, and rejection is because when you're trying to work through old stuff in your mind and accept it and embrace it and share it, all of these things come up. It's not, it's going to happen. And over the course of 90 days, you get to work with, participants get to work with both of us on the same theme, supported in a small group of 6 women max, and move through old stories that they can't get themselves to touch yet. And it's so important that they do right now, this year specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they're going through this shift.
It will make you, the circumstances, I think, in your life may not necessarily change right away, but you will, feel, like you said, the law of attraction you were talking about, that you will feel so much more empowered. You will connect with, I'm just, speaking from my own experience as well, and that strength inside of you, you connect to a part of yourself that you thought, was hidden away and you couldn't find again. And when you are able to connect with that part of yourself, you connect with others. And like you said, good things start to happen in your life. Partnerships, clients, everything that you're looking for, whatever it may be, happens when you connect with that part of yourself. And it is doable. It absolutely is.
I think it's easier to go through a transition and the energy shift that so many people are currently experiencing when you're connected to every part of you.
Yes.
You know, I meditate. All my best friends are intuitives, and so there's always conversations about chakras and energy and manifestation going on. But I think it's feeling into transitions and feeling into shifts isn't a comfortable feeling. Like there's constant surrendering and there's constant shedding, and there's, even though I feel as grounded as I can possibly be, there's still that element of the unknown, you know?
Yeah. And that can be scary.
Right. But it doesn't, I think it would be worse. I think it would feel more intense than it currently does. Mm-hmm. If I didn't know who I was, if I didn't have all these tools, if I wasn't open to the change. And I think when you're scared, you're so closed off that you're in fight or flight mode. You're just in survival mode. And we're not in a collective energy for that anymore. It won't support you. It'll take you under.
No,
it'll be really painful.
You hit something that really spoke to me there, and I think that's so important, and why we did that video and the workbook on fear as well. I remember a time when a client told me, it's like, oh, I feel like there's certain parts of myself I can't share with other people. It's like I've got to like cut off parts of my body because I can't share those parts. I'm ashamed of those parts. And I felt like that. And when you start to, like you said, accept those parts of yourself, even the, things that you may consider the bad, the ugly, the good, everything, we're all human, we're all imperfect, and that's okay. We're all beautiful just the way we are. When we start to accept that, we start to feel that energy start to shift. I faced a fear in my own life recently, just building a connection with someone that I haven't spoken to in a long time. And when you talk about the unknown, how scary that is, it's so scary when you build up this fear in your mind, and it's like, what's going to happen? What is that conversation going to be like? The more you put it off, the more scared you get. I finally had a conversation like that in my own life about a month ago. And that was a huge shift for me, walking this talk, facing my fear. And it wasn't as scary as I had built it up in my mind to be. And like you said, not connecting with that unknown is often scarier than facing it and seeing the good that's on the other side. Mm-hmm. You risk not seeing that sometimes.
Yeah, that's really true. I think the mastermind is going to be so beneficial to people who are at that brink, who are afraid to embrace it, or are just starting to recognize that they're in fight or flight, and that they're looking for, and they recognize and they accept the fact that they can't move forward this way. This is kind of why we designed it with only a maximum of 6. Group calls, private calls with us every month, and then a girls' weekend at the end of it to celebrate the transition and to celebrate the success of what they moved through. So discover your story, share your truth. 90 days, the total sum of it plus the girls' weekend is $3,000. You can pay that up front, or you can do 3 payments. I think we did 3 payments of like $1,100.
Yeah, it was right around there. Mm-hmm.
And so if you're interested in booking a discovery call with Diane and I, in the show notes, you'll see the link. It's callwithcarrie.com, and we'll book a call so you can share your concerns or your questions and see if this is a good fit for you. But Diane and I both have a lot of experience with moving people through transition. Diane is the light in the foundational story, and I'm your support in helping you share your story. So it's a good combination.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's just a great way to get to know us here. Like we're and sharing our experiences, and just to, feel that comfort level to schedule a call with us, and to, get both of us on the line, and, feel that energy and feel that connection. And I think that's powerful too, to feel like, is exactly what I've been looking for.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad we did this.
Yes, me too.
All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in, and we hope to connect with you soon.
Thanks for watching.